It is Tuesday evening, everybody. You know what time it is. It is time for Sideline Sports. I am Jake. We are joined by my two co-hosts, as per usual, JB Ellis, Jon Shearer. And this week, we got a little something special this week. We got a part of a newer member, if you will, of the network, Troy Gary, part of what is now formerly known the Gary and Stein Sports Show. It is now the Gary and Stein and Stevens Show. Troy, you want to tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, Dave Stevens, longtime ESPN employee, reached out to us and wanted to join our show. And, of course, I'm not going to say no to a 7-time Emmy winner. So, so that's exciting. We just made that announcement today, so everything's switched over.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And, just real quick, because you know what, Troy, you and Will have been absolutely crushing it, so I got to give you guys the props. I know for all the people that are watching at home or watching on replay later, we talked about it last week, but Troy and Will had some incredible breaking news last week. I mean, you guys are just absolutely killing it. Adding Dave Stevens, as you said, 7-time Emmy winner. So, hey, we're lucky to have you guys on the network. We love having you guys. And anybody that's listening at home or watching at home, you're in for a good show because we're going to have Troy the whole show today. He said he'll join us for the whole time. So you get an extra voice and you get a little bit of a taste of what his show is going to be like because you get to hear Troy and his opinions and what he's like. So very much looking forward to this. So, gentlemen, do you guys have anything before we get into this?
Just want to say I heard that John was upset about the breaking news. That's why he broke the Dave Stevens news, Troy. So
he was a little
in-house jealousy. Yeah, it was just bad communication on our part, but definitely glad it all worked out. We're excited to have you guys on the network, and definitely excited to have Dave with us as well.
Absolutely.
Great guys. Another great addition to a lot of great men and women that are already working with us. So definitely proud to have you guys.
So
thank you,
John. Anything real quick? Or are we good to go?
No, let's go.
So let's get into this. All right.
We're off and running tonight, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
I like it.
JB, I'm in charge. You're running a tight ship here. Don't you know this?
Wow. And we're getting Jake acclimated.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a guy helping us on the background. So, yes, that's what JB's talking about. Yes. All right. So let's start it off with let's talk a little hockey, guys, because last week I was very clear with what I said about the Avalanche versus the Lightning. And I want to start this off by first saying congratulations and thank you to the Colorado Avalanche because I think we can all agree everybody wanted this. Nobody wanted to watch the Lightning win again, unless you're Eric. But Eric's not here, so it doesn't matter. Eric is not part of this conversation.
By the way, happy birthday,
right
Eric.
Yes, and I was just going to get to that. So, Eric, my man, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, but let me talk bad about your team. I like it. I see how we're rolling tonight. We're stealing other shows' news. We're destroying people's birthdays. Guys, come on. This is not good.
This is my birthday present to Eric. My birthday present to him is to say, your team lost. I'm going to make you feel bad about it now. That's what's going to happen here. No, I mean, it was a great series. I was very vocal that I wanted another game. I would have loved a Game 7. I mean, as sports fans, we all can agree probably Game 7 in any sport is one of the greatest things you can hear. Some of the best two words, and especially when it's in any finals of any sport, it doesn't get much better than that. But real quick, and then I'll throw it to you guys to get your thoughts. Last week, I said to you guys specifically something very important to me, and I was right. And this is not about me gloating, but it's just, I made a point and I wanted to explain now that it's happened, it's transpired what I was saying. I said Game 4, I needed to see something from the Avalanche, and the Avalanche showed me what I needed to see. Not only did they win on the road in Game 4, but more importantly, if you watched Game 4, right, they got back to their game. They got to play their game on the road. Their style of play was able to show up on the road, and that's what I was getting at last week when I was talking about it. And the Lightning can only do so much, and they showed that again in Game 6 on the road, with their backs up against the wall, if you will, because they're on the road. Even though they're leading, there's a lot of pressure on the road. You got to try and close this out, right? You had one opportunity to close it out. You didn't. You got to try and alleviate that pressure. You got to close it out. You can't let this go 7 with the defending champs. And again, they played their game. They played their brand of hockey. They just forced the Lightning to play the way the Avalanche wanted to play. And that's what I was saying with Game 4. I saw that in Games 4. I saw it in Game 5. I definitely saw it in Game 6. They played their brand of hockey. And even though they lost Game 5, the Lightning were good, but the Avalanche, despite losing Game 5, they owned the series, if you ask me. They were the better team. They were fresher, faster. They were the better team by a lot of standards.
When it comes down to it, the Avalanche did exactly what they had to do. They showed up in all the games that they needed to show up in. We spoke about they needed to show up in Game 4 and have a good game, not get trounced, and they ended up winning that game, which was huge. And they didn't need to win the game necessarily; they just had to show up. And in the playoffs, it's not so much about getting out to big leads and showing up. It's about simplifying everything and taking it one game at a time and playing your best game that day. And they were able to do it. And on the other end of the spectrum, for the Lightning, it's hard to get to the finals year after year after year and, play all those extra games, all those extra minutes, especially in a sport like hockey that's so physical.
Absolutely.
So you got to give them a lot of credit for getting there. It's not losing it, although it's tough for them to be there 3 years in a row and win 2 out of the 3.
Absolutely.
No disrespect to them. So, Eric, remember, it was great to come in second. You're better than the Canes,
Wait, great to come in second?
When
did anybody ever say that?
I wouldn't say it's great to come in second. I think it's good to say they were really.
But when you won the last 2
places, every single NHL team that's
when
not named the Colorado Avalanche.
When you won the last 2, you could come in second this year because you'll be back next year.
You lost. You're a loser, Tampa Bay. You are losers. You lost the Stanley Cup. You have as many championships this season as every team in the NHL does, except the Colorado Avalanche.
Wow.
None.
Including
you have
your
nothing.
team.
You have nothing to show for it. You lost. Bye-bye. Go home. You losers. You suck. Get out of here.
Hold on. I'd just like to point out, you thought I was harsh. This is harsh. This is mean. I was nice with what I said.
It's John. Do we expect anything different?
When has he gotten soft where he's like, wow, second
He's
place,
getting soft in his old
congratulations,
age.
here's a participation trophy.
It's the old age catching up.
Because you're not going to win every year, John. They won 2 out of the last 3. So, you know what? If I won 2 out of 3, if I got to lose one, I'm okay with that. They're going to be back next year. Your Canes ain't going nowhere.
They're over.
Whoa.
They're done. The Lightning are done. This is the end.
Who got further? The Canes? The Canes and the Lightning.
They both won the same amount of championships this year. That's what I take from it.
Wow. What a horrible
Rangers, Canes.
Hold on. Sir, what commercial did you see that I was in? Because even I didn't know I was in a commercial. I don't know when this happened.
Jake's moonlighting and doing commercials. This I got to hear.
Apparently. I'm moonlighting, but I don't even know it.
Brought to you by Domino's.
There you go. Troy,
wow.
Who's your team in hockey? I didn't ask you.
I had Colorado in 6, and my biggest concern was going into the Stanley Cup Finals was how Kemper was going to perform, and he did well enough. I mean, a lot better than and was his
Andre Vasilevsky.
I can't remember Vasilevsky, and that was kind of shocking to me, even though I thought Colorado had the better team. I just thought Kemper would have been their Achilles heel. And he, like I said, besides that Game 3, I think, he played pretty well. So
I think the way you put it is exactly how I would describe it. You didn't say he played well. You didn't say he was great. You didn't even say he was good. You said he played well enough. And it's funny that you said that because I think that's kind of the thing that we all agreed upon is the Avalanche are going to have to score, but Kemper just can't play bad enough to the point where they can't overcome what the Lightning are putting on them. And I'd go so far as to say Kemper was solid. I wouldn't call him good, wouldn't call him great. I'd call him a little better than well enough. But, to your point, he did what he needed to do. And that's the thing. Were they, a special team? No. Was he a special goalie? No. But was this team great? Yes. They played really great defense. Offensively, they were incredible. And Kemper just did enough. He didn't let up 7 goals on an average night. on an average night in the Stanley Cup final, he was actually only letting up, I think, 2 or 3 goals at most. That was it, really. He was pretty good about it. So yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't think I thought Vasilevsky would be the better goalie. That's what it comes down to for me. I didn't see this coming, but again, I'm in no way complaining. I could not be happier. Jordan Long, one of the people of our network, one of the great people in this network. If he's watching at home right now, congratulations, sir. I know you're a big Avalanche fan, and I know
I don't think he's recovered yet.
He might not be. It's very possible he's not. I wouldn't be surprised. It was a great series, and I'm not complaining. I'm very happy about it. But like I said, I would have liked if I could get one more game. I would have been really happy.
I think every single thing that I said would happen in this series, and JB agreed with me last week. Every single thing that happened in this series, I said this would happen. I said they're going to do exactly what the Golden State Warriors would do: go on the road, Game 6, win the series, and be champions. I said Colorado's the better team in every single way except goaltending, and all that had to happen was the goaltending had to hold up in some fashion. Like Kemper wasn't going to be better than Vasilevsky, but he had to be just good enough.
You know
because
what? In some games,
the starting
he really was.
cast for Colorado is that much better than the starting cast for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and so the goaltending just had to be. You know what I mean? Like
I think 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago the Lightning won the series easily.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Absolutely. But
in 5.
This is 2 years later. That's the thing.
But that's the great thing about sports. Teams change every year, and the little differences go from winning the cup to losing at 6.
Yeah.
Also, the Lightning aren't facing, a decent team. Like, they're not facing a mediocre team. They're facing a team that's actually on their level, and they lost in 6. I mean, go figure. They actually face a team that can compete with them, and they lose.
Yeah. Just 2 quick last things. First of all, JB, you talked about feeling bad for somebody. I don't feel bad for the Lightning as a whole. I feel bad for one person. I feel bad for Corey Perry. I know he already has a Stanley Cup with the Ducks many years ago, but the poor guy has lost 3 cups in a row on 3 different teams, and he can't catch a break. He first plays the Lightning against on the Stars, playing against the Lightning, loses that. Playing on the Stars, loses the Lightning. Then the next year, he plays for Montreal, loses the Lightning again. So then he figures, if you can't beat him, join him, right? So he joins the Lightning, and he loses again. This poor guy can't catch a break. Again, he's got a Stanley Cup, so it's not like he's one of those guys that's looking for his first. He already has one, which I get, but that's got to suck to lose 3 in a row.
If he didn't have a cup, it'd be a heartbreaking story.
Right.
It sucks to lose in any fashion of losing. Losing's a horrible feeling. But he has one, and that's a pretty great accomplishment.
It's just it's a wild story to think. Like,
it's not like
he
Jim
loses
Kelly.
twice to the Lightning and then joins them and then proceeds to lose with them.
Boo-hoo, Kevin Durant. You lose to a team that you can't beat a team and then you try and join them.
More wild that he's been on 3 different teams to lose the Stanley Cup.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like Jim Kelly and the Bills that lost 4 in a row, which was insane in the first place.
That's bad.
But he's jumped around and still lost, which is wild.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, we talk about why the Avalanche won this series. There was one last thing that I meant to mention before that nobody has talked about yet, and I understand why not, because it's not the biggest thing. It's one simple thing, though. For me, Tampa was exhausted, and the Avalanche weren't. And it's not – forget that Tampa has won 2 cups in a row. Forget how long their seasons have been the last 2 years. They played a lot more games than the Avalanche this year in the playoffs. The Avs only had, excluding the Stanley Cup final, 1 series go past 4 games. The Lightning had multiple series where it went more than 4 games. So,
I don't buy into that theory.
No, but
I never did.
It absolutely makes a difference because think about it. You play 7 games, then you play 4, so you get 1 sweep.
It's not like the regular season where you play it back to back, and there's
but you're playing 17 games in I don't know how many days, and then the Avs are just like sweep, 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 sweep. They basically just, they sweep 2 teams in one series. I believe it was 5 or 6 games. I can't remember. I think it was against Nashville. I have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm not buying that theory. You're a professional athlete. There's no excuse for that. I don't want to hear that one.
I defer to the other 2 to hear their thoughts, because playing that many games, it's going to tax you eventually. It's going to catch up, I think.
I mean, we just heard from JB about wow, you came in second place. He tried to give him a participation trophy. Now he doesn't buy into people can get tired.
Exactly.
Get out of here with this guy. You're out of order.
Every other day.
You're out of order.
If you play every day, it's okay. If you're playing every other day, no, you can't complain you're tired. It's a sick. If you want to, anyone ever wants to say they're tired, the Rangers and Penguins after that 3 overtime game.
They were.
No, they can't be tired because they're professional athletes. Nope.
They could say they're tired the next game for one game, but then it's over.
That theory.
If you're not playing, no. I'm not accepting of that.
And real quick, one last thing, Troy. I know you're. I guess we'll put you as a guest. Technically, you're not really. Anytime you want to jump in and say something, just jump right in and say whatever it is. I don't want you to feel like, you just got to sit there and listen to the 3 of us, because I got to be honest. I love the 3 of us. I love when we get together and we talk and we do the show, but nobody cares what we have to say. When there's a guest on, we want to hear what you have to say. So feel free to jump in with anything at any point. I wanted to say something. I don't want you to feel like you got to just sit back and listen to the 3 of us, because we get kind of boring. I know.
And if you cut off John, you get bonus points. So.
Oh, I agree.
I'm not bored of anything I say, so I'm just saying.
You can honestly just go like this and just mute John. We won't be upset. Like we do it all the time.
I still keep talking either way.
He'll keep watch. He'll start talking, and then I'll just mute him, and he'll just talk while he's sitting there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. All right, gentlemen, where do we want to go next? I know we got a couple things we want to get covered today, so I'll leave it to you guys.
You
pick. Go.
Keep it going. Roll the wheel.
Then. All right, JB. I know you want to talk about this a lot as the resident basketball guy. We got to talk about Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving continues to be, in my opinion, one of the most selfish man-children I've ever seen. He is the equivalent to a giant baby, and I'm so sick of it. It is becoming unbearable and ridiculous. Now, JB, as I said, you are a resident basketball guy. I will turn it to you, sir, to explain this in any reasonable way you can try, because this whole situation to me, baloney.
JB's a Nets fan with a Knicks shirt on. Tell me how that makes sense. Please go on, JB, though. That makes complete sense, please.
And real quick, actually, JB, let me just preface this by saying Kyrie Irving is out of order for everything that he's done, because I know for a fact we all agree the antics that Kyrie Irving pulled, just ridiculous. So I just wanted to say that. We haven't done that in a while.
I'm going to start this out by saying anyone that hasn't done so, and I hate telling people to go somewhere else to listen to stuff, because we have so many shows on. Go pull up JJ Redick's podcast where he had Kyrie Irving on. Probably one of the best podcasts I ever heard. I really didn't know much about Kyrie as a person, but he's actually really intelligent, smart guy. He's out there with his theories, and he's crazy.
With his
I
flat
actually
Earth
disagree.
thing?
I hate listening to JJ Redick.
Well, it's a shock that we
That's
disagree.
not a shock. Yeah. John doesn't like something.
John,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think he's stupid.
John, you saying something you don't like something is
Wow.
like saying the sun's going to come up the next day. Yeah, no duh. We know.
So,
I know. I'm just saying, same thing with Draymond Green. I'm tired of hearing him talk. I mean, this guy runs his lips all day long.
Anyway, hang on one second, John. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, John. Anyway, take a listen to it. It's only about an hour. You hear how Kyrie likes to think. He's out there. He's in another stratosphere.
He's a flat earth.
And, then you come into this season. He doesn't want to get vaccinated. Whatever. Do what you want to do. It's your choice. You just got to deal with the consequences. But basically between him and, Cheeseburger, who then they traded for no-show, it was kind of hard to even make the playoffs, and they got to the play-in game.
So hold on, let me get this straight.
Oh, great! Here we go again. Participation trophy.
So James Harden's new nickname is Cheeseburger, and no show is Ben Simmons.
Jake, you're pretty good. I don't know how you figured that out.
I love these nicknames. These are great. I don't know how you come up with these. So you got Glass Joe for Anthony Davis, Cheeseburger, and now you got No Show. I like this. This is a good set of nicknames, sir.
And the great thing about Ben Simmons is he's between, he played in Philly and New York. So, for the mob, they have a lot of no-show jobs. You ever watch The Sopranos? They talk about the no-show jobs. Ben Simmons leads the league for no-show jobs. Him and Tony Soprano be like best friends. But anyway, so, you have the whole thing with Kyrie with the no vaccination and whatever. He misses half the games. And they have a horrible season. And then there's all this talk about, the Nets handling things horribly. Durant's upset with them. They're going to try and trade Kyrie. He's not going to re-sign. They're going to do a sign and trade.
Can we make
I'm like,
crybaby?
My head is spinning. Durant hasn't done anything to even talk. He may be one of the best players in the league, but he picks his teammates.
I was going to say, you know what? Durant's legacy
LeBron
will
James
be,
do
for
the same
me,
exact thing?
Durant will be tainted forever, in my opinion, for one reason. He won a championship because of Steph Curry and the guys around him. He didn't win it on his own. And I say that because when he had some of the best talent you could have on a single team, a three-headed monster between him, Westbrook, and Harden when they were in OKC. He couldn't win, but that says to me...
Harden wasn't the same player.
But it doesn't... But even if he's half of what he was.
But either way, what kills me for him, Golden State won without him now. So
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
So that to me is more of a show of what he is. But, he's complaining about management. Meanwhile, he's got Cheeseburger that doesn't really want to play. They can't get along. They trade him for No Show, who all of a sudden's got a back injury.
Oh, you mean a hurt ego? It's a hurt ego. Let's be honest.
Listen, the Nets. This is the second time they tried this. They tried this back in the Kevin Garnett days to make these huge moves.
I forgot about that.
Huge moves. Like you're sitting as a guy following the Nets, you're saying, "Wow, they're going to win championship after championship." They do nothing. Same thing happened now. Cheeseburger's gone. No Show's here. Maybe next year No Show will show up a couple of times.
He'll show up for 3 games.
They go and they sign Kyrie. And, I still heard some talk tonight about maybe him going to the Lakers. Listen, he's out there. He's a cancer. He was a cancer before they signed him. He was a cancer after they signed him. He doesn't play defense anyway. I don't know. I don't get it. But that's me. He's out there. Yeah. John, what do you think? Because I know you're a huge Kyrie fan. I saw you in his Nikes last week.
Basically, we just saw Philly Jim say KD hasn't proven anything. Someone drug test this man. What they're saying is KD hasn't won anything without Golden State. Before that, he had all the talent in the world on his team, couldn't win. Got to one championship, lost to my Heat. He handpicked this team with the Nets. He got what he wanted, and he still hasn't even sniffed a championship. So I completely agree with JB on that. Championships don't necessarily determine what a player is or isn't, but at the same time, what Kevin Durant has had on his team, and he's accomplished nothing without having to run to the Golden State Warriors. Completely agree with JB on that. I can't disagree. Philly Jim, you're completely wrong. Just like AJ Brown's overrated, so you just keep running your lips, but you're wrong this time. You're wrong that time.
There's the new ad for the show. I agree.
That's typical Philly
I
thing.
agree with
blah,
JB.
blah, blah, blah.
I agree with JB.
It's a one-time. I don't
that's
agree
the new
with
ad for the show.
Trophy things, but this is a one-time I agree with him. So
yeah, no, I look. I'd have to agree with JB as well.
And also, I'm just gonna say when Kevin Durant had Westbrook and Harden, nobody's ever won with Westbrook or Harden. So, I will say that because those guys aren't winners, but still had a lot of talent.
But still, when
there,
you have that much talent, right, and that's why I would agree with JB. Yes, they haven't won on their own, but again, when you have that much talent on one squad, you should be winning a championship at least once, if not multiple times. And to his, to JB's point, I get the questioning of KD hasn't proven anything. What's up with that? What I think the point ultimately is being made is that what kind of John said, what JB was trying to say, and John kind of helped to reiterate, is that KD has won a championship, but it was with other talent. And what I mean by that, he wasn't the guy. He was maybe the 1A with Steph at that point.
Well, Steph deferred to him. Steph let him have the team.
Right,
because Steph
but
is a
and that's why I
selfless
call him
player.
the one. That's why I'm saying the 1A, or maybe and I'm saying that because I put them kind of tied because of what you just said. Steph was deferring to him, but Steph was helping make the plays to KD.
Not many.
So
not
he was
many
doing a lot of
professional
work.
athletes would be willing to give up control of their own
Winners.
team that was their team.
Winners do that. Winners do whatever it takes to win.
Exactly.
KD picked head cases to try and win. I look at this comment. Come on. Who would have thought Kyrie was going to act like that? Do we not remember Kyrie in Boston or Cleveland?
I was going to say, in Cleveland? Come on. I mean, did you not remember how he was with LeBron?
And Cheeseburger?
Kyrie waited an entire year because Kevin Durant was hurt. He wasted an entire year of his career waiting for Kevin Durant. Let's not forget that.
Cheeseburger was too busy going to strip clubs and trying to date another Kardashian to play basketball.
And wearing fat
suits. To this point,
that's what we were saying, that Steph was deferring to KD. I think a lot, yes, the offense was centered around him, but, you know, I'll give a good example of a current player that is, you know, if his career continues the way it is, he will be one of the greatest basketball players probably of all time. Again, and that's if his career continues the way it is. It's way too soon to tell. But Giannis is one of the greatest players in the sport right now. And I think if Giannis plays the way he does now for his full career, he could be up there. And again, we'll see. He's probably got at least, I would say, 8 or 9 years, if not more, left in him to play. So
Can I give you a hot take?
So
Can I give you a hot take?
Hold on.
No.
So that's a lot of time for that to change. But the point I want to make is this, and he's a great example. What did Giannis win with? Who was his sidekick? Think about it. Who was his
Jon
sidekick?
Shearer.
Chris
Jon
Middleton?
Shearer.
That was his
That's a
sidekick?
great
I mean, and I say that because he is a great example of a player that just they won. They were so great. They elevated his team that he was on to win a championship. KD, while a great player, needed so much talent, it seems, to win a championship, despite having so much great talent at other times. And that's what I'm getting at.
On every stop of his career.
Exactly.
Listen, I can't stand LeBron. What he brought to the finals, he may be, there's no argument. He's in the top 2 players of all time. He's not number one because Jordan is definitely number one in my opinion. But LeBron brought,
it's close,
a garbage pail to the finals.
He sure did.
So,
he brought what? Kevin Love, a washed up Kevin Love, and that was his number 2 with the team. That was after Kyrie left. Yeah.
I just want to throw out this hot take. Giannis and Patrick Mahomes both have one championship. Both are going to end their careers with the same amount that they have right now. Neither's ever going to win another championship. Let that sink in. By the way, speaking of Kansas City.
I just wanted to put this up for everybody because we're not responsible for what John thinks.
Speaking of Kansas City,
I don't get him.
There's a man right over here that lives and dies Kansas City. Troy Gary. Talk to us a little bit about this, and then also talk to us a little bit about Big Slick because.
Yes, I wanted you to mention that because that was a huge event and it was for a great cause. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Big Slick is a charity every year, every June for a children's hospital in Kansas City. It benefits their pediatric cancer ward. Helps money goes to research and helps families be able to miss work and not have to worry about bills while their kids are going through treatment, so they can be at the hospital with them. So every year I go to it. It's been going on for 13 years now. I've been to 12. When I used to live there before I moved up to Minnesota, I was involved every year, but I always come back, and it's run by the celebrities. The 5 main celebrities that come every year are Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Rob Riggle, Eric Stone Street, and Dave Koechner. And then they bring 30 to 40 other celebrities in, visit the hospital, raise money for that through a party and auction, and then they had a softball game before a Royals game Friday night. So I just spent 3 days there, and in 3 days they raised over $3.5 million.
Wow!
For the hospital. So that was fun to be a part of. Like I said, I look forward to that every year, and it was a good weekend.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
All right,
That's
so I want to get your thoughts on this whole situation that we've been talking about. I got to hear this. I mean, I know you have to be thinking something over there. You got to
Yeah, I
give
mean,
me something.
I know when JB said the Kyrie to the Lakers, I thought LeBron and him didn't get along in Cleveland, and then Kyrie said those comments to him about that. So I would not think I would cross the Lakers off the list just because of that. They didn't get along in Cleveland. Kyrie made some pretty harsh comments about LeBron. Kyrie kind of reminds me of Jimmy Butler, when he was running his mouth a couple years ago. He just thinks he's better than everybody, and the team's about him. He's, of course, calmed down a little bit since he's been in Miami, but, basically to ask for a trade, pull out, these teams, and then say, never mind, I'll just take the option, and then, I would still trade him if I were the Nets. I mean, but who's going to put up with that? I mean, I don't know.
I agree with you. That's sorry, John. That's the question. Who wants to put up with him? That's it. It's just who would want to put up with him at this point? It's a very good question. And honestly, I don't think anybody would want to because I don't. I wouldn't want to. I'm a Knicks fan. We stink. I don't want him to join.
I had also heard that Kyrie apparently would hold his own practices while Steve Nash held his own practices.
Hold on. Real quick. All right, never mind. Because
Mr. Tatum left.
I
invited him to fight JB.
I was very confused.
I saw JB in the teeth.
I saw James
KD
Tatum
comment, but he left.
James Tatum, who is one of the hosts on our network and on our channel that posts great content, the LinkedIn podcast. Shout out to him for that, which is an Eagles podcast, as well as the Gauntlet, which is kind of like us, just another all-around sports conversational podcast.
Saturdays at 7:00.
Yeah, great content. I saw him come on. I was so excited to hear what he had to say, but he just left. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to catch the heat. I don't know. I guess he's too scared. So all right, continue. Sorry.
So Kyrie apparently would hold his own practices on the side while Steve Nash held the team practices, which is incredibly disrespectful to Steve Nash, to any coach. To do that to your coach, that's incredibly disrespectful. I've never heard of a player doing that to a head coach. While they're trying to conduct a team practice, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go start my own. Like, what kind of player does that? That's incredible.
I'll tell you what kind of player does it.
Steve Nash didn't know anything about playing point guard in the NBA, though. So I mean, that may be why. It wasn't
only one of the greatest ever.
It wasn't Patrick Ewing that was his head coach. It was Steve Nash, who was a great point guard. Don't pay attention to him.
No.
Regardless of who your head coach is.
Oh, I agree, John. It's just
that's unprofessional.
The irony of it.
It's so unbelievable. I don't get it. So, hold on.
All right, bring him on.
All right,
bring him on.
So let me change this a little bit. I want to do something different. So, first of all, hello, sir.
Look at him, gentlemen. Angry. I love it. I feel the anger.
Yeah. I'm just wondering why Jon Shearer is always acting tough on the internet, but when he's face to face, he doesn't want the.
Look, I'm the same person now, then, and forever.
Wow.
The same exact person.
You're not the same
Look
person.
Look at A.J. Brown's stats. This guy's a little bit overrated.
Geez.
I didn't know that this guy's done absolutely
He got over
nothing.
1,000 yards. First of all, I don't know why does the Philadelphia Eagles live rent-free in your head when you're a Dolphins fan from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania?
Look,
you should be worried about why the Buffalo Bills own your division instead of worrying about what the Eagles are doing.
I deal with Eric Wilson every single day, so I have to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, it's just part of the business.
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to be one of the best receivers.
I think Devontae Smith's going to be really good, but I think A.J. Brown is a little bit overrated.
How is he overrated?
I didn't know his stats were that low.
He's a top 10 receiver. He's been over 1,000 yards twice. He got hurt last year. He's getting 1,000 yards in an offense that's predicated on Derrick Henry getting the majority of the load. What do you want him to do? Put up 1,600 yards when Derrick Henry's getting 30 carries? It's not going to happen.
John, I got to agree with James, and I don't like agreeing with him because he's an Eagles fan, and this makes me hurt on the inside, but he's not wrong. First of all, I believe his quarterback is an upgrade. It's not a big upgrade, but it's a minor upgrade for one reason. He went from Ryan Tannehill, who tried to be mobile, but really isn't very mobile, to Jalen Hurts, who isn't the most mobile quarterback, but he is mobile. The guy can move. and he'll make
How is he not mobile? He rushed for 700 yards last year and 10 rushing touchdowns.
Jake, what are you
Ryan
saying?
Tannehill compared to
Ryan
Jalen
I
Hurts.
thought you said Jalen Hurts was not. I thought you said Jalen Hurts was not mobile.
No, I said Ryan Tannehill.
This guy.
No, Tannehill.
Well, the other thing about that is Ryan Tannehill is who he is.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is the jury is out on him. He's only, last season was his first season as a starting quarterback.
That's what I was.
He played 4 games his rookie season. So what I'm saying is Hurts can actually ascend and get better, and the book's not really closed on him. At this point in time, we pretty much know who Ryan Tannehill is.
Right, and that's the problem. And I hate to agree, but I do. Jalen Hurts is more mobile, and he can make more plays on the run, which is really big. And second of all, you're right, we don't know. But more importantly, for the entire offense, if Devonta Smith is wide receiver 1, right, on any given day, like that, and I say, corner 1 is covering him. That's what I mean by that. It doesn't matter what the depth chart says. Corner 1 covers him, right? Then you got A.J. Brown, who's going to be corner 2. You're setting yourself up for failure. And if it's the other way around, it still helps Devonta Smith. It doesn't matter.
And don't forget, we still have Dallas Goedert, who's one of the best tight ends in the league.
But second of all, and this is a little Eagle slander, but also I know you're going to agree with me. I know you will not argue with me about this. The Eagles are one of the worst rushing teams because they don't rush. They could be a great rushing team, but they choose not to rush the ball. And
we were the number 1 team in rushing yards last season.
Well, that's
you can't say that because you have Jalen Hurts who got most of your rushing.
That's
look at our rushing attempts. We were one of the most rushing teams in the league. The first half of the season, we're not running the ball, but the whole second half, nobody could stop a running game.
I'm assuming he's talking about the games where Miles Sanders had like 2 carries. I'm assuming.
That was the beginning part of the season.
Okay. I'm assuming that's what Jake is referring to.
Because Miles Sanders is but I'm talking about
that's a different argument.
Miles Sanders does not get a lot of rushing attempts overall.
No, he doesn't.
Like when you average it out, and that's my point.
They don't
that's
trust
what I'm getting at. But that was what I was getting at. You get a lot of rushing attempts from your quarterback, which helps those stats. But I'm saying just the way your team is set up, it's not a running team first. You're more of a pass-first offense. That's your general play style. And that's what I'm saying is good for A.J. Brown because, as you alluded to, the Titans were very much run-heavy, very much run-first, always. I mean, as they should be. But the Eagles won't be, which is going to really help. So, John, I'm going to have to disagree with you on all accounts because I think A.J. Brown is not only a great receiver, but he's also going to have one of his best seasons, if not his best season this year, just because the offense is going to be built in a way that's conducive for his style of play, which is what he needs. That's what everybody needs.
Yep.
I just don't get how you can say that A.J. Brown's an overrated receiver when, who do you know that's saying, A.J. Brown's the best receiver in the league? No one's saying that.
Well,
he's a really good receiver. 10. And when you go from Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor as your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers to having Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, that's quite a big difference. So
I didn't say it was a bad trade. Never said it was a bad trade. I just said I think he's a little bit overrated. We should cut a little bit of the hype on him.
Backing down now without backing down.
I'm explaining.
This is John saying I can't get to the top
What makes A.J. Brown overrated, John? That's what I want to know.
I think if you look at his stats, putting him top 10 is a little bit
But what stats?
Okay, like I said, Derrick Henry's getting 30 rushing attempts a game. He's the main feature of the offense. What do you want him to do? Get 1,700 yards a season? That's not going to happen.
Yes, that's exactly what I want.
John, you're asking for impossible.
That doesn't make any sense.
If he's top 10, then the statistics will prove it.
That's false.
John, that argument was beat.
That doesn't make any sense.
The whole
Dalvin
LA
Cook is in Minnesota, right? Troy, you know about
Dalvin
Minnesota.
Cook is not anywhere close to as good as Derrick Henry. Stop the
Dalvin
nonsense.
Cook is an all-pro running back, but yet,
hold on. I want to hear what Troy has
Jefferson?
to say. Oh, John.
All I know is
let's hear what Troy has to say.
Better at trading for wide receivers and drafting them since he passed up on Justin Jefferson for Reagor. That was probably one of the worst decisions in his career so far. So. A.J. Brown, good player. I think, like I said, better than him drafting him because he can't be doing that. Devontae Smith, he hasn't really done much. I know he was hurt a couple years ago, but I think
this is his second year in the league. He hasn't been in the league for a couple years. He's been in League One.
Okay, well,
he's a rookie last year.
Now.
He was not hurt last year, by the way.
He got hurt.
Pretty sure he was. But Okay.
No, he wasn't, but okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Rager. Yeah. I mean, like I said, they took him over Justin Jefferson. So yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. The jury's still out on Rager. Maybe he'll turn into a pretty good player, but yeah, the first year wasn't the greatest.
And like I said, Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson has the most yards out of anybody through 2 seasons of their careers ever, 2 all-pro years. Nobody's ever had that many yards in the first 2 years of their career. But yet he has Dalvin Cook there. Oh, and Adam Thielen is also on the other side. So that guy takes away a lot of stats. But yet we don't want you to have just 1,000 yards. We want you to have like 1,700 yards, which
That's
Justin
2 completely
Jefferson
different teams, 2 completely different teams, 2 completely different offenses. And Dalvin Cook is not even close to on the same level as Derrick Henry. In fact, no one except maybe Jonathan Taylor is in the same conversation with him. 2 completely different offenses, so not really the best argument, John.
Hang on, let John continue because we'll get a lot more. Not so good argument.
Game. Dalvin Cook runs a whole bunch. He catches the ball a whole bunch, but yet Justin Jefferson still does what he does. How's that possible?
I'm not saying that Justin Jefferson's better than A.J. Brown, absolutely. But
I don't think
it's 2 completely different offenses that you're talking about.
I'm just going by your logic. That's all.
Right, but you're comparing
well, if you're going to use his logic, you would say they're 2 different offenses because that's the logic.
One's a rush-first offense. One is a very balanced offense. And that's the point we're making. The Titans are very much run. That is what they do.
Yes, they're going to continue to run Derrick Henry into the ground.
And that's what they're going to do. But the Vikings, they are a balanced team. And Troy, you could probably actually speak to this very well. They're not always going to be run first. Most teams are run first on first down. But after that, they're like most other teams where it's kind of a balance, as opposed to the Titans are very much keep on running. And Troy, I want to throw it to you because you can give us better insight on how Minnesota plays on offense because that's all you, man. That's your realm. Oh, we lost Troy. What happened?
His connection may have cut out. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe I
was so disappointed in John's argument that he decided to go away. He'll be right back, I'm sure.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's loading in. All right, so because I do want to hear what he has to say on this. Troy, you there? There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. Here we go again. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Here. And the Vikings in the past, they've been pretty much a balanced offense. But Kevin O'Connell, new coach of the Vikings, I think he's going to be passing more. Dalvin Cook has been hurt quite a bit in the last couple of years. They also have Alexander Madison, and they drafted another guy. But I think they're going to be throwing a lot more this year. So probably a little less Dalvin Cook, and hopefully that will help him out as far as his career and extending that and have a pretty good season. But, yeah, Kevin O'Connell seems to be, of course he came from the Rams. So I think they're going to be throwing a lot more this year.
And
Thank
for
you very much.
For those
Point
that
proven.
say that the Vikings are a balanced offense, Dalvin Cook was 5th in the league in rushing attempts, so that's a lot of rushing attempps.
Right, but hold on.
It's not like this guy's like 15th in rushing attempts. He's top 5 in carrying the ball.
Hold on, John. Troy said something very important, which is all I wanted him to say to prove what I was trying to tell you. They are a balanced offense. That's all I was saying. They are very much a balanced offense. They pass and rush the ball a lot. They don't do one more than the other necessarily, where it's always this or always that. That was the point. So to your argument, A.J. Brown was on a team that was very much rush. Run the ball all the time. As opposed to Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson are a team of balance.
So what did he do once Derrick Henry wasn't playing?
I don't know, John. I don't have the stats on hand. I don't know.
Keep it going.
So what,
hold on. Because I don't have the stats.
Do you have the answer?
Do you have the answer?
He didn't do anything. That's my point. This guy hasn't done anything.
John, you just said that you took away their main source of offense, and they realized to key on the better wide receiver on the field. John, you're making yourself sound bad.
How am I making myself sound bad?
Somebody mute him.
Whenever you.
Oh, no, he's still talking.
I got it.
Thank you. John, if you lose your best player, you know to key on the next best player.
That's a fair point. He's got a pretty good point.
Wow.
Anyway, all right. I think we need to move on. James, if you want to stay on, you're welcome to stay. We're not going to kick you off by any means ever. You know that. But, JB, I think there was one or two things you wanted to talk about that you were chomping at the bit, and we got about 10 minutes here. So, JB, what do you want to talk about next, sir?
All right, let's talk about Sunday. Throw up that video.
All right, I got you. Well, you introduce it, and I'll pull it up. While I pull it up, you can.
So we got the latest UFC video coming up from Sunday. UFC was out in Anaheim. They brought in guys from Seattle and from Anaheim that got into the greatest UFC brawl in years. Oh wait, this was Major League Baseball. I'm sorry, I was a little confused. But this was probably the best brawl I've seen in ages.
This was. You don't see this happen often. I'm not complaining. But it was definitely it was interesting. I haven't seen this one in a while. Give me one sec. All right. So here you go. Seattle versus LA. And I guess you could say they don't really like each other very much.
And I think they still have to play like 10 more times after this. So
they're not done. Yeah, so
I mean, it was a pretty pedestrian play. I mean, this is what caused the whole thing from a previous game.
Right.
I'm sure, when someone throws at Mike Trout, you're not going to be a very happy thing.
I get it. But,
and then you saw, guys on Seattle would throwing sunflower seeds on the field, water buckets. Oh, it was great. Come on. In baseball, you got to have that every once in a while.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. But it was still unprofessional.
I think it was
part of the game.
Right? Go ahead, John.
Actually, what's not part of the game is the manager for the Angels, interim manager for the Angels, started the starting pitcher. He started on purpose with the intent to throw. The only reason he started that guy was he told that guy, I want you to throw it there, guys. That's the only reason he started him. So that's not professional to start a guy just so that guy can hit other guys. That's stupid.
This is documented where?
So this is what I heard on CBS Sports
the
Radio yesterday.
Starter to put this guy in last minute.
Yep.
Okay. But
that was the only reason he started him, to hit
just to
guys.
Throw it?
Yep.
To throw at people?
Yep.
I don't know.
Manager for the
Angels.
he
knew he was probably going to get ejected.
Yeah, I don't know. And either way, that's kind of the behind the unwritten rules of baseball. You throw at my guy, I'm going to throw at your guy. As long as you're not throwing at the head. I got no problem with it.
Stupid. I hate the unwritten rules of baseball. I just think they're stupid.
Do you? And you're a baseball guy and you hate the unwritten rules of baseball?
I think they're stupid. I mean, you end up getting guys hurt by a guy broke his elbow for the Angels in that brawl.
Yeah.
He's out for at least a month because of this stupidity. Because his own manager started a guy to throw at a guy and then ended up being a brawl, and his pitcher, his guy out of the bullpen, broke his elbow. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, well.
Here's your sign.
The whole situation, it's
congratulations.
Ridiculous.
You're a losing team, Angels. Like, you're the manager, you're a loser. Like, that's loser.
But it was entertaining because when you're an Angel fan, you don't have much to be entertained with, Joe.
Congratulations, Mike Trout won't make the playoffs again.
Uh-huh.
And Shohei Ohtani. You have Ohtani and Mike Trout, and you're just a bumbling mess.
Uh-huh. The whole thing
that's
was
no
a mess.
different.
Disgrace.
I mean, look,
John,
here's what I'll say.
Hang on one second, Jake. If you poll 10 people, random people, not anybody here, on the street that are baseball fans, not like us, not that are involved as much as we are, how many of them you think could point out Ohtani or Trout?
Every single one.
I doubt it.
You asked, I answered.
As usual, you're wrong. Next, Jake.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, the only, I guess, positive to all of this, and I put quotes around that, it's not really positive, but, the public relations person in me is trying to put a positive spin on this. The only, I guess, positive for baseball and all of this
brings a lot of attention. It's all over the news. And baseball has a terrible job at marketing their stars. And they're not marketing their stars with this, but they're bringing attention to their sport. And again, it's not something I should be proud of. You shouldn't be happy about it. But I guess at the end of the day, it's your name in the news. I mean, again, not a positive, but if you're trying to pull positives, that's probably the most positive thing from this is that baseball gets their name out there. But I mean, it's a bad look nonetheless.
So James, were you in favor of the Phillies throwing back when Bryce Harper got hit?
No, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Stuff like that happens in baseball all the time. People are trying to hit players. So as far as, guys being upset about it and trying to fight back, that's going to happen. They're going to always stick up for their teammates. So I'm not going to fault them for that, but I'm also not going to make, a big deal about it. It is what it is. It's always going to happen in baseball.
Right.
It's not something that can really be stopped.
So, John, what would you rather have on your team? Would you rather have a Mike Piazza who had a bat hurled at him as he was running towards first base and the Mets did absolutely nothing? Or, what happened in the Angels-Seattle game? Which team would you rather play for or root for?
I would rather the Mets thing.
So you would rather have someone hurl something at you that could kill you for absolutely no reason, where when you're at bat, they have to throw a pitch. The only way the game can be played. There is never a reason to throw a bat at somebody.
No, there's not, but you're not the police. You're not the commissioner. You're not the ones that are the ones that hand down the suspensions and all that stuff.
I think nothing to defend your teammates.
I think both cases are wrong. I think you should defend your teammates, but the way they did it was wrong by intentionally throwing pitches at the other team. That's wrong, but I think you should always defend your teammates. And then the Mike Piazza thing is just wrong in so many levels, but not defending your teammate. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't agree with throwing a bat at somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not going to agree with either of
this. But reacting to it, I mean, you're no better if you react to it. So you're going to say you're a professional.
You let somebody get a pass for throwing a bat at you?
No.
You are. It's not your place.
I'd combine the two. I would take what the response was in this Mariners-Angels games where there's a fight. That's what should be the response, if anything, fine. But throwing balls intentionally at somebody, trying to harm them is wrong. And just like throwing a bat at somebody intentionally harm them is wrong. Neither of them are right. The response to that a fight is caused, I don't like it, but it's normal. I would defend my teammate. I get it. But intentionally trying to hurt somebody else in that manner is just ridiculous. That's not right.
I want to poll everyone here. Throwing a bat at somebody, are you going to charge the guy and kill him?
I mean, I wouldn't.
I'm never going to try to kill someone, especially.
No.
I might try to beat them up.
No, if they throw a bat at me, no, it's on. They're done. Obviously, you won't get to kill them because somebody's going to intervene. But I ain't stopping because I'm going to see blood. Because if that bat would have hit me, what happens if that bat hit me in the head? Because there's no way you're going to tell me that wasn't the intent, was to hit him with the bat.
You're not wrong.
So I'm going after him. Someone's going to pull me off of because there's 60 guys running into the middle of the field if that happens. So you're not going to have a chance. But
JB,
you're going to want
this is your guy right here. This is what you want to hear.
Denzel is the guy that runs around the bases with the bat. It's like, come at me, man.
He will hold the bat and run around the entire base path. Like, yeah, try and get me out. I dare you. See what happens. No.
What about you, Troy? What are you doing when they throw the bat at you?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely charging the mound if I'm getting a bat thrown at me.
And I think we all agree. We'd charge the mound.
I'm a professional. I would not. That's just me. I'm a professional. I wouldn't.
So you're saying you would just stand there and take it, John?
It's not taking it. It's called being a professional. You're a mentor.
No.
JB, you would stand there and take it.
JB, listen to me.
You're a role model for kids. You're not supposed to be.
JB, listen.
Yes.
Here's what we do. Here's what we do. We'll go to John's
That's
house.
a weird way of saying I would just stand there and take it.
We'll put John outside. We're going to bring him to a baseball field, and we're going to throw a bat at his head. And we're going to see what John does to the two of us. Because even though we are both bigger than John, it doesn't mean that he won't try to hurt us. Apparently, he says he won't.
I'm not.
I want to
I'm
see
not
what John does
Kate.
when someone throws a bat at him.
I'm not in the
love to see it.
World
Listen,
Series.
And I'm not
not
advocating for
standing there.
fighting. And I believe me, I'm not saying fighting is good, but defending yourself is important in life. And when someone
agree.
hurls an object at you that could kill you, and there's bad blood before that,
You might
And
want to
that
say something.
sometimes, and if it's not you, one of your 20-something teammates,
Do anything.
So you
Literally
agree with
anything.
Bill Nevin starting the pitcher
No,
to
we.
intentionally throw at guys.
I disagree with that.
Calls that. Then your own pitcher breaks his elbow in the fight. How's that?
listen, I'm
Congratulations.
okay with throwing at people if you throw to the lower half of the body. I have no issue with that. Once you start throwing
I
high,
still disagree with that, but
I don't like. No, you can throw low,
start a
You get hit
fight.
in the
Don't
leg.
try to hurt somebody like that. That's wrong, in my opinion.
and you shouldn't try and hit them. You should throw inside, make them move. Because first of all, that's important in baseball. You got to make people uncomfortable. Hitting, if it's low, I can deal with, but you've got to be able to throw inside.
All right, we are just out of time, basically. So if you want to go around, we'll start with James. James, just tell everybody where they can find you. Oh, we lost Troy. Well, I'll take care of Troy if he doesn't come back. James, tell everybody where they can find you. And first of all, thank you for coming on, sir.
No, I'm glad I could be on here and put John in his place. And if you guys ever need any help, I'm happy to assist. But I am the host of the Gauntlet, and we're having Cancun edition on the Gauntlet this week, where we're going to be talking about when our teams got sent to Cancun, losing in the playoffs. So it's going to be painful, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. So you guys can see us live. We're on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. All right, Troy, where can everybody find you? Just give them a little something about you guys.
New show, Gary Stein and Steven show. Is gonna every Monday have a new episode. Next week we have former Detroit.
Oh, we lost him again.
Oh, he was talking about the Lions, so I assume that's what cut him off.
He's got that Nelson Aguilar reception.
Let's get him back real quick. All right, Troy, you were talking about the Lions.
Sorry, next week we have former Detroit Lions quarterback Scott Mitchell was going to join us. So.
Awesome, gentlemen, we are cutting it. So I will.
You know where to find me.
I got you. You guys can
somewhere.
find JB at JB.
Unfortunately, I know where I can find you,
John is at BlueHawks13. I'm at Jake_Malik. Sideline Sports is on Instagram and Twitter at SidelineSport1. YouTube and Facebook, look up just Sideline Sports. We are on DBTV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TikTok, Spotify, absolutely everywhere. Everybody, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.